In the last episode, we laid down Dupli-Color's copper wheel paint on the wheels, and they came out great. Now that the car will be rolling in style, it's time to start reassembling the major components that'll get it back on the road. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Dupli-Color garage. Working on the 79 El Camino. We have a lot going on. We've done a lot to the car, and as you can see, there's parts everywhere inside the bed. So we're to the point where we want to really start putting things back together. Ben has the gas tank. Ben, why don't you go ahead and throw that up on the table. We'll get it unboxed. Mark has a sending unit here. And Mark actually did a ton of work under the car as the gas tank was out. What'd you end up doing?
Yeah, so we really took advantage of having that free space there. We're able to get into all the nooks and crannies, get a nice new protective coat, keep it good to go for years to come.
So what'd you use underneath there?
We went with the Dupli-Color professional undercoat, so you get that sound illumination. You know, we got a little bit of truck feature here, so you're gonna get a little more road noise, possibly in the cab.
Yeah, through the bed and everything. So
made sense to go with that one.
Yeah, and we started, this car is actually pretty clean as far as rust goes. So when Mark put that undercoating down, we didn't have to worry about scraping that rusty surface off. We just made sure that it was a good clean surface, put down that undercoating. It's nice cleaner in here. So they're gonna go ahead and get the parts unboxed, get that fresh new gas tank put together, and then get it put back underneath the car. So that's step number one. And then we have to start working on the things under the hood, get those components back together so we can get this car fired up before we start tearing anything more apart. All right, so Ben unboxed the brand new tank here, and the reason why we have a brand new tank is because the original tank was literally crushed and leaking. So while we're at it, we grabbed a new sending unit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this all unboxed, get the sending unit in the tank.
Hey Brian.
What's up?
We're gonna need to paint these gas tank straps.
All right.
We've got some wipers back here as well.
All right, so there's probably some other parts that we forgot about. So yeah, go ahead and throw those on some cardboard over there and get those cleaned up and get them painted.
Can do.
Actually, never mind, guys. I think it might be better for you to get up on this table and me to be down there.
All right.
I think you might have a little bit more room to paint. All right, so we have the brand new gas tank sitting here with the brand new sending unit in place, so that's good to go. However, I can't put this in just yet because there's a couple sections of fuel lines that I need to replace. I'm going to replace them with some rubber hose. Now that is exactly what the factory had in place, and the previous owner with the car had this old electric fuel pump in place, which we tore it out. It was making a lot of noise, it was leaking. Going back to a mechanical fuel pump, which is driven off the engine. That's how it had from the factory. We're not looking for anything high performance here, just something reliable. So getting rid of that unreliable old pump. And since that old rubber line was cut out of place for that electric fuel pump, I'm gonna go ahead and replace the rubber lines with some fresh new ones, get that in place, and then we can install the brand new gas tank. A little bit of lubricant on that hose there, so it slides on the hard line easier. Always make sure these hoses are not kinked when you put them on.
All right, so we got our gas tank straps and our windshield wipers all cleaned up and ready for paint. Ben here gave me a nice hand with that. And then Brian's actually getting the gas lines put on the tank, and we'll be ready to go with our gas tank as well. So we're gonna get to some painting.
All right, we have the gas tank all put together, sending units in place, new hoses are on, and we're ready to slide this thing under, get it to fit, put those painted straps on, get it into place. So here we go. Ben, you want to help me slide this under here? I'll sneak under. Oh yeah, grab the straps.
got it. And that's why you wear safety glasses.
Dropping your nuts.
Okay. That's just locked. It's locked.
All right, cool.
Do you want me to hold it in place and you bolt it?
Yeah, I think
Because
one of us are gonna have to hold this thing.
No, I can get it. I have a good angle right here, just like this. So I can literally keep holding it up with one. I got it, Ben.
You got it?
Yeah. I have a square underneath it, so. In theory, we could just put a jack in it.
So this is where it gets really complicated.
You gotta wiggle it around.
Because the old tank is compressed versus the new one. So it's gonna
Have some play.
it's gonna have to be crushed. We have a long way to go.
Oh, really?
Holy cow. Are you gonna need it? And all we're
jack.
gonna have to do,
Bend the metal.
we're gonna have to bend this in. So this is a game. Now we're gonna have to bring the tank back out and pound these edges in. So we just test fitted the tank, and with new tanks versus old tanks, the old tank is literally crushed from the factory to get those straps to fit on here. The new tank, when it's pressed into shape, these outer flanges on the seam when they press it, they're flatter. So we need to literally take a piece of wood and a hammer and bend these seams closer to the tank, which will allow us more room for those straps to get attached back up to the body. So it's hammer time. You guys want to grab a 2x4?
Cool.
It's in place. Now we just got to tighten the bolts. All right, so the tank is in. We're gonna hook up the fuel lines and also hook up the ground, and should be good to go. All right, so we have the gas tank in the car. Mark and Ben, myself. I think it was a little bit of a struggle, but it's all back in place. Still have to hook up the fuel lines to make sure we have fuel to the engine. Now, speaking of the engine bay, things are extremely bare under the hood. You know, we pulled this motor out, repainted the whole thing, and now we have basically everything to put back under the hood. We have the headers, all the accessories like the alternator, the power steering pump, the pulleys, the radiator, the starter, carburetor, all sorts of stuff has to go back under the hood. The goal here is to get the car to the point where it's running again before we start tearing into the bodywork, just because it'll give us more of a sense of accomplishment here. So we have everything sitting here on the table: headers, power steering pump, alternator, pulleys, brackets. Still have a few odds and ends that we have to paint as well, but first things first is I was going to put the headers on, but that won't leave me room for the starter, so that has to go in first. So let's start with the starter. Alright, well, starter is something I'm not going to start with because I realized after putting the starter in and tightening it that the headers need to go in at about the same time because the starter is actually in the way of the headers going in the car. So let me grab the cherry picker, lift this motor up, which will give me a little bit more room, grab a header, drop it down into place loosely, try to sneak this starter back into place and button it all up together, and then we'll get to the driver's side header. Where are my helpers at? I feel like I'm running solo today. All right, so motor's up, so that'll should give us a little bit more clearance to stab those headers into place. You don't want to scratch paint. All right, so that gave us plenty of room to put this in. So now I just need a bolt. So I'm just going to loosely put these in place without the gasket because I'll still need to sneak that starter into place as well. That oil filter might be in the way. This one is snug. All right, well, the frustration that most people go through when trying to fit headers into a car Headers are huge, trying to fit into a small area. Either have to jack up the car, remove other components to get them to fit. So the passenger side went in just fine after removing the starter again. Driver side, not so much. I might have to take that oil filter back off of there, and I'm also going to have to remove the steering shaft that I put in previously. So I'm going to remove that back out because that's what it's hitting. So let me grab my tools, remove the steering shaft, and hopefully the header will drop down into place. Now we'll come back out. Back out. Headers are in, now it's time for the starter. Even more difficult. Well, maybe it won't be too bad. As long as I can get this starter bolt started, it'll hold itself into place. Done. Boy, is this gonna be a pain. The problem is, there's no room to get a gasket in here. The pipe, the exhaust pipe and the header are touching. So we ran into, I destroyed.
You just tightened it down too hard?
No, the exhaust pipe connecting to the header is, there's no room to work. It's such a tight fit, and these graphite gaskets literally break apart and crumble when you look at them wrong. So we're going to opt for copper gaskets that are actually bendable and flexible, something that we need that's a little bit more pliable. So we'll order those up, but for now we'll continue working on the top half of the engine and start putting the fuel pump on. This car's like a puzzle. You take it apart, you use the same exact parts to put it back together, and it still doesn't go back together. So Mark and I just had this power steering pump on and off 3 or 4 times trying to figure out what the right
This is the one.
pieces are here. All right, so
This is right there, yeah.
No,
No,
the alignment of
it's
the
literally,
pulleys.
it's right here.
Oh, there you go. This is what we're gonna do. Take it off again, and loosen that bolt. Oops. That rolled away. So I got the power steering lines, the hard lines hooked up here, and I'm hooking up the return line, and I actually noticed there's a huge kink in this rubber hose right here. It's the return line, so it's not super critical, it's not the high pressure line, but we definitely want the fluid returning back to the pump, and this line is excessively long, so it looks like I might be able to just cut it right where it's kinked and then hook it up to the hard line. We should be in good shape there. lock washer and a nut on it. We don't want these babies coming loose. All right, we're gonna have to try to find a way to pry this thing back. All right, got 2 of the 3. Believe it or not, this thing's hollow. Last thing you want is your drive shaft to come loose. Welcome back to the Dupli-Color Garage. We're continuing work on the Project El Camino. We have a lot going on. We've done a lot to the car itself as far as reassembly goes because we had this car completely torn apart and we wanted to get it to the point of getting it back together before we really dug into the bodywork. So we want to get it to the point where the car is running once again. So Mark and Ben are cleaning up the air cleaner housing, scuffing things down, and they're going to go ahead and paint that with the VHT Wrinkle Plus to match the valve covers. I'm just about ready to put this whole carburetor on it. I know it's not the prettiest thing, but we did rebuild it. It runs good, and it will essentially get covered mostly by the air cleaner, but we might detail that up if needed. In the next episode, we're moving on to the El Camino's truck bed to make sure it's protected from the elements, so we're hitting it with a few coats of Dupli-Color truck bed coating. Join us next week where Mark and Ben get to work on giving the El Camino a new mechanism of defense. To keep up on the latest from Dupli-Color, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and visit Dupli-Color.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more great videos from Dupli-Color.